Well, Sabrina, welcome to Women on Fire International. I am so excited that we are here today because we only met about a week ago, quite randomly, when I went out with some friends to the movies and you started speaking to us, and I thought, how amazing and serendipitous is that? And on top of that, you are a phenomenal comedian. So I'm super excited to hear your story. Welcome to the Women on Fire International interview.
Thanks, Pedro. Thank you so much for having me. I am extremely excited to share this with you and to be a part of Women on Fire.
Excited, because you are a woman on fire. We've had a few conversations. I'm like, you're on fire, baby.
Thank you. And there's a lot of people who've contributed to it, so I'm very, very fortunate.
And we'll cover a little bit of that about that, yeah. So first of all, I always like to say, tell us a little bit about yourself.
And then about 5 years ago, I met a fine man named Paul Sveen. And he inspired me because I had seen him do stand-up. He's a stand-up and an author. And I joked with him and said, oh, I love your work, and it's all you do is tell your story and you're super funny. And Paul said to me, you can do this. And I said, well, I've always wanted to do it, but how do you just become a comedian?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do it. And he said, well, I provide writing courses and I'll mentor you. And he has ever since. So I finally took it a little more seriously. And it's been probably about a year and a half where I've done a lot more performing, and I've started to really come down on my craft, work hard, and now I've actually produced some shows with other headliners. And so yeah, it's been a great ride, that's for sure. I did have a wonderful job that I loved as well. At the same time, I was managing an optical in South Edmonton, and but the Edmonton isn't the busiest right now. We've had a little bit of a slowdown.
Okay.
So I ended up losing that job, but something really nice has come along, which is part-time. So I'm working with an accounting firm, and that allows me to write and do my stand-up as well.
It's funny how the world, or how the universe makes things happen once you get into motion. It just provides you those opportunities, a part-time job so you can focus on your craft. That's pretty cool.
It even actually brought me here because I didn't have a full-time job. And being here in Australia, you ask, how does that happen since I'm that far away?
Yeah.
But the rates were so low, and I had a friend who offered, you can stay at my house.
Yeah.
It was too good to be true. So I had the time off work, and I ended up being able to come here and randomly meet you at a movie night.
Which is awesome. I love that. That's how my life works, and I love that about my life. I'm really interested in how you decided and persevered becoming a stand-up comic, because I find there's a lot of us out there who go, yes, I'd love to be a comic, or yes, I'd love to be a speaker, or that I'd love to one day. And sometimes opportunities do come up and very few people take the action. What is it that motivated you to do it?
Honestly, it would have to be the belief that one other person believed in me, and then that turned my mentality around. I thought, if a total stranger can say to me, oh, you can do this? I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And now that's my mantra. And Paul Sveen was the one that did that. He said to me, oh yeah, you can do this. You're going to share your story. And I can. And I would urge anyone, and women I find probably are a little more hesitant. They're a little more uncertain of their strengths. And the truth is, when you do stand-up, I think that the biggest and best part of a really great comedian is to become vulnerable. And you discuss that most frightening side, because everyone is afraid of those same things. We just don't want to talk about them. So if I go up there and tell you the worst things, the most horrifying stuff, and tell you just how it makes me feel, you're sitting in there and it's gold, because that's exactly what that person's thinking.
Yes.
And that's how I got so pumped about doing it, because there's a lot of different stories we all have, and a lot of things that I think sharing gives and enables other people to like go on to that same topic or drive them and give them that same passion, whether it be stand-up or music or anything, that if they want to share their story, that you give them that little motivation. I mean, I was even just thrilled that what I had done, and like each coursework and each show, when you have friends or family or people that come out to support you, like I realized I've already made a difference because I got them to take a break from their busy day or week or year. But to have two friends actually enroll and take the same class.
Wow.
And be inspired to do it for two other different reasons. One, to broaden her like public speaking ability, because the fear was so great.
Yeah.
And the other was, you know, I think my life is funny. I think there's a story behind it. And I told her, Laura, yeah. And Gina, yes, like this will make a difference. And in the beginning, it is, I mean, for sure, it's an anxious time before I go on stage, and I've been doing it for years. So, you know, but if you don't take that leap, you'll never know.
Yeah.
And you'll never know how good it feels once you're up there and it is working. It's a great feeling.
And it doesn't always work, because we spoke about the time. And there was a time where it didn't work. Tell us about that, because I feel there's so... we glorify success so much, and yet we can learn from people's failures is not the right word. It's from people's lessons.
There
so
is.
Tell me about
and
your
it's a
lessons.
huge journey. Like it's something. And stand-up is not easy, and people who write stand-up will tell you that. But the thing is, it's the times when there is silence that you are mortified up there, and then you go, I am so rewriting that tonight when I get home. It's the like you do have a lot to, there's a lot of things about being live. Like there's no room for error. And when that audience isn't on board, or the timing was off, or you learn right there, and it sticks with you. So the next time you're more prepared. But you grow from that. You know, you see how it works. You listen back to your tape, or you watch yourself, and you think, and sometimes you yourself are a little confused. You know, practicing like in front of my stuffed animals, I got the same reaction, and I thought, I don't think it's supposed to be this quiet in the room. So when I actually look back at it, and I thought, because it's funny when you're up there, and you're confident, which you know you should be, but there's always a little bit of anxiety there. When it doesn't, it's like there is that moment, like, oh, well now what? Because I thought I had you guys, and so it is like a little bit of a struggle, but you learn from that, and that's the only way you get to be better, and it's a challenge, and sometimes it's great because it makes you go home and it makes you work harder. It makes you rewrite the same story but from a different side, maybe, like you know, when you kind of have to look at it and go, well, and your audience, you know, every audience is different, and so yeah, it's a brave thing to do.
Yes.
It's a brave thing to public speak. So you know, not everyone wants to do it, which is, I respect them for that too. But if you've ever like wanted to try it, or you want to just become a better public speaker, you're preparing for something like you're going to MC a wedding or do something, this is like one of those opportunities where just go for it. Like, and I always say the worst thing that can happen is they don't laugh and they don't want you back. Yeah. And if it's a room full of strangers, that's okay, because you didn't know them before anyway.
Yeah. That's fair enough. You didn't know them before anyway.
And otherwise, most of the time, you're going to have, you know, when people come to stand-up, this is one thing that I've even learned this. A stand-up comedy night is something that people they don't just go because it's open like the bar. They plan in an evening and they're going to go to see it. And they are relaxed and they already want to be like entertained. They don't want to have to think. And most of us have always already had something gone off in our week or maybe earlier that day. And stand up is like an escape. Yeah. And if I can like go up there and connect with one person, which connects with 3 people, which connects with 10 people, which will resonate with the room, and they enjoy me letting you know, listen, this is my story. It's pretty blunt and pretty point blank. This is how I go. And just what I tell and what I share is also sort of something content-wise that gives other women or other people that have the same struggles that I had. Yeah. And that maybe will get them to see things in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. And laughter certainly is the best medicine, because sometimes we get too serious as adults, and everything's so serious and everything has to be planned, and yes, it's totally the opposite, isn't it? When you have fun, that's when things just flow. And yeah, I know when I go to stand-up comic, like open mic nights particularly, I always will that person to be amazing. The stand-up, I want them to be amazing, right? And even when their jokes don't appeal to me greatly, I'm like, well, I still want you to be amazing. So I'm always giving good vibes, even though it's not funny, for me anyway. And so I think that's really something important to remember, that everyone's willing you to be great.
Right. People want you to succeed when you go up there.
Yes.
And people know how, people in the audience, most people I'd say, realize that's hard. I would not go, I would not go up and do that. Or what, you know, so it's when they're sitting in the chair and they're not under a spotlight and they're just having drinks with friends, they always say too, oh, I'm so funny, and oh yeah, I got a joke for you, and you know, and you're like, okay, and you want them to be a part of that because you want to get their energy up as well whenever they're out. But when people see you up there, especially people who are supportive, they realize that's really hard. Way to go. I don't think I'd go up there. But yet I do always tell people, I tell them all the time, you guys, we all have a story, and all you need to do is learn how to structure it, because let me tell you, it's hilarious. It's gold. Your voice to share your own story is your gold.
Yes, I love that. I mean, I think I'm really funny. And even
so do I.
Yeah, right. And so sometimes I laugh at my own jokes, you know, so I love it, and I love laughing at myself, and I think that just adds a different flavor to it. And I also really want to acknowledge you for being brave and going on stage, right? And being a stand-up comic, because for me, comedy is still one of the most difficult genres out there, and I always take my hat off to people who at least give it a go.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
And that's, you know, every open mic and everyone that picks up a microphone, I applaud you. That's, you know, and so don't be afraid of it, and if you want to share your story, you can do it.
You can do it. Yeah. Damn right.
Yeah.
So any final words and advice or any final message you would like to give to the Women on Fire community?
I just want all women, I really want women to take note of what they might have missing. That one thing that they've wanted to try, don't put it off. Don't put it off. Just jump in and do it. And take what it is, no matter how little that passion is, and open that up and explore it, because what it's done for me it's changed my life. No millionaire, nothing like that. But what I've grown from and learned about myself, the people that I've met, how I approach and look at other people and other people's lives, what I take from, and then just an everyday meeting. Yeah. It's just, you know, put yourself out there. Just do what it is that you want to do. Even those things that have made you afraid all this time, don't hesitate. If it's going to cost you $1 million, save for your $1 million. Like, whatever you need to do for it first. I mean, this was not the case. I did not try something that was, you know, but And with open mics, which people can do, you just walk in and sign up. If you want someone to help you do your writing, that's what I did. That's how I felt would be more necessary. And it totally worked. And there are probably comics everywhere in Australia, across the globe.
Absolutely.
Paul Sveens in Canada. They're there to help you because why? Same thing. They want you to succeed.
Yes.
And as a woman on fire, I want each of us to succeed. But be happy. Like, enjoy your passion. Live it a little.
Yes.
Live your own dream a little.
That's so cool. That's a cool message.
Thanks.
And then, yeah.
And then meet other women who are just as great and putting it out there.
Fire out. So exciting. I feel the fire and the energy. It's awesome. Sabrina, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your passion. And we will be adding a clip of your comedy to this interview so people can see your magic too and be inspired by it. Of course, we'll put your details in the notes if that's okay with you.
That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Pop it in there so people can contact you as well, which would be so phenomenal. So thank you again, Sabrina. It's been amazing.
Thank you for having me. Thanks so much, Phaedra.
My mother keeps telling me, Sabrina, if you would only find Mr. Right already. And I just keep meeting Mr. Sub. I'll just shoot into that corner every time. Sabrina, if only you would just lose the weight. You gotta stop eating the fatty finger foods. Yeah. You guys really gonna give up deep fried food? Yeah, but Sabrina, if you would just eat more green vegetables. If you deep fry them, I will eat them. Like 3 months back, I ate deep fried cauliflower. I will do that again. Sabrina, you gotta go to Paris. Paris. My mom is German. I'm Canadian. She wants to send me to France. Okay, too soon. Needless to say, I have not, nor will I probably go to France. Oh, she says, but then you're going to fall in love under the Arc de Triomphe. I was like, yeah, well, I didn't have the heart to tell her, but she's going to find out now. I fell in love under the golden arches. Sabrina, if you aren't gonna find somebody, they're gonna call you the single Canadian female und no kids. They're gonna call you a schwunk. So I thought about it, and I'm like, you wanna know what I want? I want a schwunk parade. Yes, all of you with me, okay? Think about this. First of all, single ladies, all the single ladies, we got a theme song, okay? We can wear what? Whatever we want, whatever color we want, whatever shoes we want. You want to carry a purse? You carry a purse. Then there's also the end of parade. Oh yeah. And what's going to be at the end of my parade? A s'morg. A beautiful s'morg. And then right there's going to be a multitude of 30 to 55-year-old single men serving. Look at all these married women, they're like, that's looking pretty good to me. Yeah, they can't look at their spouses right now because they're like, holy, she's got it going on. This whole time that I, at least date. But then I had a really great romance. And, well, I think some of you probably know what I'm talking about. The pizza guy. Oh, yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about. 12-inch salami. 3 times a week. He comes every 30 minutes. And so he gets a lot of calls. Sometimes he's pretty coy, stands at the bottom of the stairs, you know, and then other nights he just comes right to the door holding my goodies. And then recently, I don't know if you guys went through it as well, but there was quite a snowstorm, miserable cold, and he pulled up and he stayed in the car. And I was like, oh no, I'm all good with this. I throw my boots on, leave the coat, and I jet out. And, well, it started. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? First we rock back and forth, side to side, a little more. In, out, in, out. Our breath is up against that back window. And then with one big thrust, we push the car right out of the snowdrift. And then he was such a gentleman, you know, because he rolled down his window when I got him. And he didn't just give me one, he gave me 2 dipping sauces.